Hello and welcome to India Business Hour. I'm Ashmit Kumar and here are the headlines that we're tracking this evening. A fresh tariff threat from US President-elect Donald Trump roils stock markets worldwide. Trump pledges to impose an additional 10% tariff on China and 25% tariffs on close allies Canada and Mexico. Blames all three nations for not doing enough to stem the flow of drugs and migrants into the US. The government may soon allow 100% FDI in the insurance sector. Sources say a composite license mechanism may also get the green light. Adds that the government hopes to amend the laws in the ongoing winter session of Parliament. Stocks of Adani Group companies fall after fresh downgrades to its shares and bonds from ratings agencies Fitch and Moody's. Sources say Adani Wilmar is looking to delay a stake sale. Add that it may ask SEBI for more time to meet the 25% public float norms. Israeli airstrikes in Gaza and Syria kill over a dozen people, even as hopes rise that Israel may call for a temporary truce with Hezbollah. Israel's cabinet is likely to discuss a 60-day ceasefire deal, but the deal sees opposition from some far-right ministers in the Netanyahu government. Sources say the government has approved a proposal to waive the bank guarantees that telecom companies were required to furnish for spectrum acquired before 2022. The move would be a huge relief for Vodafone Idea and a significant boost for Airtel. Food aggregator Zomato launches an 8,500 crore rupee qualified institutional placement at a floor price of nearly 266 rupees per share. The exercise will change Zomato's shareholding pattern to give it more domestic investors. Mahindra deepens its electric vehicle bet, launches 2 new electric SUVs, promising faster charging and higher mileage. Ola Electric unveils its cheaper scooter yet at an introductory price of nearly 40,000 rupees, targeting gig workers. Also unveils another range of scooters starting at 60,000 rupees. Both scooters will have removable batteries. Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde tenders his resignation to the governor. Will remain caretaker Chief Minister until a new leader is sworn in. The Mahayuti stakes claim to form the new government, but there is still no clarity on who the next Chief Minister will be. At least 5 security personnel have been killed in Pakistan and dozens injured in clashes with supporters of jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan. The army has been deployed on the streets with orders to shoot at sight, even as Khan supporters attempt to march towards Islamabad, demanding his release. Well, but before we get to all of that, here's a quick snapshot of the day's trading action in the financial markets. The bulls took a breather after a 2-sprint and early gains on the Lal Street were soon erased in what turned out to be a volatile trading session. The Sensex and the Nifty ended with modest losses, with the Nifty dropping below 24,200. Now, the mid-cap index managed to hold its head above water, but just barely. In the money market, meanwhile, the Indian rupee managed to hold steady against the US dollar. The rupee remains above the 84 mark. India's 10-year government bonds also held steady in trade today. Well, here's the big story moving the worldwide markets. US President-elect Donald Trump has threatened to impose 25% tariffs on close allies Mexico and Canada on day one of his presidency. Making the announcement via Truth Social, Trump blamed both nations for failing to stem the flow of drugs and migrants into the United States. In a separate post, Trump also pledged to impose an additional 10% tariff on China for not acting against the flow of illicit drugs. Trump's proposals are a culmination of his trade rhetoric during the election campaign trail. Several economists have warned that tariffs could stoke inflation and disrupt global trade.
U.S. President-elect Donald Trump on Monday pledged a 25% tariff on all products from Mexico and Canada from his first day in office. Trump said on social media the tariffs would remain in place until the two countries clamp down on drugs, particularly fentanyl, and migrants crossing the border illegally. The threatened new tariff would appear to violate the terms of the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Agreement on Trade, which took effect in 2020 after Trump signed it into law. That deal continued the largely duty-free trade between the three countries. The president-elect also accused China of not taking strong enough action to stop the flow of illicit drugs crossing the border into the U.S. from Mexico. He said his government would impose an additional 10% tariff on goods from the country as a result. Trump has previously pledged to end China's most favored nation trading status and slap tariffs on Chinese imports in excess of 60%, much higher than those imposed during his first term. In response, the Chinese embassy in Washington said, quote, "No one will win a trade war or a tariff war." Mexico described the current trade deal as a, quote, "framework for certainty for investors," and there was no immediate comment from Canada. Economists say that Trump's overall tariff plans would push U.S. import duty rates back up to 1930s-era levels, stoke inflation, collapse U.S.-China trade, draw retaliation, and drastically reorder supply chains. They say tariffs are paid by the companies that import the products subject to the duties, and they either pass on the cost to consumers or accept lower profits. Trump frequently refers to countries paying as a consequence of his tariff plan, saying on Monday that Mexico and Canada will, quote, "pay a very big price." In 2023, the U.S. accounted for 75% or more of the two countries' exports.
Now, while Trump fired his first salvo at China, Apple CEO Tim Cook stressed on the tech giant's commitment to the Asian country. Speaking at an event in Beijing, Cook said that Apple could not do what it does without its Chinese partners. Cook was on a visit to China to attend an expo and met with top officials in the country.
This is my third trip this year. And it's so wonderful to be there to see the intersection of technology and agriculture. And it feels wonderful to be a part of it. China, we're very committed to China. That's the reason I've been here 3 times. I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm so proud that Apple has an exhibit here with our partners. Oh, I value them very highly. We could not do what we do without them.
Well, back home, the union government is likely to allow 100% FDI in the insurance sector. Sources tell us that the government may amend the insurance laws in the current winter session of Parliament. Sapna Das joining us now with more details. Sapna, a big investment boost for the insurance sector. What more are you picking up?
Well, it is likely the government, may like to bring some amendments to the insurance bill, and that would be in relationship to the raising of the FDI cap from the current 74% to the 100%. Now, these are proposals that have been discussed in the past as well, and it may just be feasible that the ongoing winter session of the Parliament may see some action on this front. Having said that, the sense that we are being given is that probably global investors would be interested in coming in with a full 100% ownership, maybe even singly. So keeping that in mind, I think there would be a bit of messaging on the part of the government also in terms of giving a boost to the entire insurance sector. Second aspect, of course, could be possible that the insurance amendment bill may also incorporate proposal of composite licensing for the insurance companies. Now, there has been a lot of discussion on this in the past as well. 2 odd years, the regulator also has played a very important role on this front. So that might also see some light of the day. Last but not the least, insurance agents or intermediaries, where the FDI cap already has been raised, but they are unable to sell multiple policies or multiple companies, probably that relaxation will also come in. Of course, we need to wait and watch and see what other delegated legislation could follow once the amendments have been cleared by the cabinet and the bill has been brought to the Parliament. But this is what the position is as of now.
Right, Sapna, thanks a lot for that. Now, speaking at the CNBC-TV18 Global Leadership Summit just a few days ago, the IRDAI chairman, Debashish Panda, said that this is an opportune time to increase FDI in insurance to 100%. Take a look.
This has become the opportune time for having 100% FDI. So what will help potentially to the 100% is that it will play out in the sense now the players will come with 100% FDI. They can plan their business independently. They can decide on their growth plan. They can decide what kind of business they want to write.
So what are the amendments to the Insurance Act that have been proposed and how will it impact the industry? Yash Jain joining us now with more details. Yash.
Well, the insurance amendment bill and the changes which it brings to the insurance sector could be one of the boldest moves in the history as far as Indian insurance space is concerned. As far as the insurance amendment bill is concerned, it brings 5 most important changes. Of course, provided that it gets tabled in the winter session of the parliament and finds the approval. The first important change which it brings is in the form of composite insurance license. Now, composite insurance license essentially allows cross-entry of insurers into different segments. What it means is that life insurance companies with an approval in the composite insurance license would be able to underwrite and sell health insurance products or any other segment of general insurance industry like motor insurance as well. Same way, on the other side, standalone health insurance companies and general insurance companies will have the liberty to write and sell life insurance policies. Of course, this depends on the approval for composite insurance license and the regulator allowing a composite insurance license to any insurer. The second change which it can bring is insurance companies will be allowed to distribute more than one financial product, case in point insurance. What this would allow them is to distribute various other financial products like mutual funds, bank deposits, fixed deposits, loans, credit cards, so on and so forth, essentially opening up new revenue streams for insurance companies in terms of fee income. The third change which it brings, it's reducing the initial capital required to start insurance business. Today, any entity wanting to start an insurance business in India needs to bring an initial capital of 100 crore and 200 crore is the initial capital for reinsurance business. The proposal is to bring that amount down and not get fixated to one particular number, but deciding the initial capital on the size of the business which the company intends to take as far as Indian insurance space is concerned. The fourth one is captive insurance licenses. This is another very interesting aspect of the insurance amendment bill, essentially allowing large corporates, conglomerates, business houses to start their own insurance entity, but the policies and the services limited to their own employees. The fifth and the final one is with respect to relaxing investment regulations. Currently, of course, there are caps when it comes to how much an insurance company can invest in equity markets, how much it can invest in government securities or private corporate securities. But with this particular approval, the ball will go into the insurance regulator IRDAI's court in terms of allowing any insurance company, let's say, to invest more into equities or any other investment class.
Right, Yash, thanks a lot for that. Now, shares of Adani Group companies were back under pressure after recovering some lost ground in the last couple of sessions. Downgrades from ratings agencies Moody's and Fitch over bribery allegations in the US led to decline today. According to a Bloomberg report, promoters of Adani Wilmar are looking to delay a stake sale to meet the 25% public float norms. Currently, the promoters hold more than 75% stake in Adani Wilmar and have time till February of next year to pare their stake. According to a Reuters report citing sources, the Andhra Pradesh government, meanwhile, is set to cancel the solar energy contract awarded to the Adani Group. The US Department of Justice has alleged that Adani paid bribes worth 1,750 crore rupees. Since the US indictment, Adani Group shares have lost 3 lakh crore rupees in the market capitalization. The conglomerate has also fallen in the pecking order. Adani Group now ranks 6th in terms of market capitalization after Tata Group, Reliance, HDFC Group, Bajaj and ICICI. And food aggregator Zomato has launched an 8,500 crore rupee qualified institutional placement at a floor price of nearly 266 rupees per share. The indicative price has been set at 252 rupees per share, which represents a 10% discount to the stock's closing price as of today. A total of 3.8% equity or 33.65 crore shares are on offer. The exercise will change Zomato's shareholding pattern to give it more domestic investors. Now, we saw a couple of key automobile launches today. Mahindra Group has deepened its electric vehicle bet. It has launched 2 new electric SUVs, promising faster charging and higher mileage at an event in Chennai. Ola Electric unveiled its cheaper scooter at an introductory price of nearly 40,000 rupees, targeting gig workers. Also unveiled another range of scooters starting at 60,000 rupees. Both range of scooters will come with removable batteries. The Gig series will hit the road in April of 2025 and S1Z series in May of 2025. Ola also introduced Power Pod, an inverter to power homes, which is priced around 10,000 rupees. Well, it's been a sweet November for the two-wheeler sector. The strong sales momentum from October continued this month as well. That's not all. Data from the government's registration portal towards a healthy demand for tractors coming in. Passenger vehicle sales, however, continued to suffer. Sudarshan Kumar is here, joining us now with more details and more numbers concerning the sentiment in Motown.
So it's the Vahan registration data, the all-important numbers that all the companies have been talking about. If you remember, after the Q2 results, most companies in their commentary did mention about that more than wholesales, the numbers that matter the most are retail sales. And taking the cues from there, we have here tried to analyze the Vahan registration data for the month of November. Let's see what those numbers indicate. In a nutshell, on the demand perspective, it's a continuation of what we saw in the month of October. Two-wheelers remain the biggest outperformer, followed by tractors, whereas demand for passenger and commercial vehicles remains muted. Now let's come to the numbers, and before we talk about that, do remember the comparison numbers are for the entire month, whereas for this month, the data is for 25 days so far. So starting with two-wheelers, the pickup in rural demand seems to be reflecting in the numbers of Hero MotoCorp. Total registrations for Hero MotoCorp have already surpassed the numbers of October and are just 3% lower than November 2023. For TVS Motor and Bajaj too, the registration details are looking healthy, and the numbers are already at par with what we saw last month and are down just 4% and 11% respectively against November 2023. Royal Enfield, while it's currently underperformer amongst two-wheelers, but the data of last few months indicates that Royal Enfield sees a surge in registrations during the last few days of the month. The next in the list are tractor segment. Here too, registration trends are looking healthy with 5 days to go in this month. For M&M tractor, registrations are down less than 10% both month on month and year on year. And for Escorts, the decline is slightly steeper in comparison to M&M. It's down in the range of 15 to 17%. Shifting to the segments where demand concerns remain are passenger and commercial vehicles. With only 5 days to go this month, most companies are seeing sharply lower registrations. The numbers are down in the range of 40 to 52% month on month and are down 21 to 40% year-on-year, with Maruti and Tata Motors looking the weakest. Before ending, it's important to remember that the comparison numbers both month-on-month and year-on-year cover the full month, while the current data for November represents only 25 days. This gap means significant changes could still occur in the remaining days of the month.
Right, Sudarshan, thanks a lot for crunching those numbers for us. Now, the Delhi High Court has granted a stay order on a debarment notice issued by the Solar Energy Corporation against Reliance Power. The SECI had issued a show-cause notice to Reliance Power and its subsidiary for allegedly issuing fake bank guarantees and barred the company from participating in government tenders for 3 years. An automaker Hyundai India received a show-cause notice from Maharashtra tax authorities over allegations that it claimed excess input tax credit in FY21. The tax notice worth 5 crore rupees also includes interest worth 2 crore rupees. The company said that the notice will not have any impact on its operations in India. The United States FDA has issued observations for Cipla's Bengaluru unit. In a letter accessed by CNBC-TV18, the US FDA stated that equipment to monitor active pharmaceutical ingredients was not adequately qualified. The authority added that the drug maker failed to conduct comprehensive investigations and establish acceptable criteria of the drugs manufactured. And in what could come as a big relief for telecom players, sources have said that the Union Cabinet has approved the proposal to waive bank guarantees. We have also learnt that this move will pave the way for telcos to receive bank guarantee waivers for spectrum acquired before 2022. Telecom Minister Scindia had earlier said that if a waiver is granted, it would apply to the entire sector. The Cabinet has already waived the requirement for bank guarantees for spectrum acquired prospectively through auctions. And AVM India Housing Finance has been hit by a fraud. The company warned its creditors that payments could be delayed. Ritu Singh is joining us now with more details. Ritu, what are you picking up?
Aviom India Housing Finance has informed its creditors of an ongoing National Housing Bank audit following fraudulent transactions which came to light during a recent inspection, which could lead to a delay in its repayment to lenders. Now, we've accessed the letter that Aviom sent to its creditors, where it says that NHB's inspection found signs of financial irregularities, specifically some mutual fund account statements seem to have been tampered with. The company also admitted this could lead to a restatement of financial data for the past 3 financial years. The company has already filed a criminal complaint with the Economic Offences Wing, and its board has also initiated an internal investigation with independent advisors. But Aviom's short-term liquidity remains under pressure because of about 35 crores in what it calls sticky receivables and delayed capital raising efforts, stalling discussions with potential investors. The company is exploring options like equity infusion, debt realignment, and structured finance solutions. Now, Aviom India Housing Finance manages assets of about 1752 crores as of FY24, which isn't too large from a systemic point of view. Its domestic lenders include the likes of HDFC Bank, SBI, LIC Housing, HSBC, ESAF, and others, and the total exposure to these domestic lenders is about 130 crores. But with this fraud coming to light, the larger concerns are really around whether this is going to lead to further risk aversion from banks when it comes to lending to NBFCs. And the company also has outstanding NCDs of about 200 crores. So the impact on retail investors down the line also remains to be seen.
Right, Ritu, thanks a lot for that. Now, SR Group co-founder Shashikant Ruya has passed away at 81. Ruya co-founded the group in 1969 and grew it into a global conglomerate. Ruya had been suffering from prolonged illness and passed away in Mumbai. Reserve Bank Governor Shaktikanta Das was admitted to Apollo hospitals in Chennai this morning. In a statement, the Reserve Bank clarified that the Governor Das was doing fine and has been discharged. The statement added that there was no cause for concern. And coming up on India Business Hour, 3 days since NDA's landslide victory in the state of Maharashtra, but the suspense over next Chief Minister continues. And you can also catch all CNBC TV18's news and updates on Facebook, X, Threads, Instagram, and JioCinema. Well, you are watching India Business Hour. Now, Israeli forces continue to attack southern Lebanon, killing at least 31 people in the last 24 hours. Israel military launched fresh airstrikes hitting residential and commercial buildings in Beirut, as well as the port city of Tyre. Israel's defense officials reiterated their stance of targeting Hezbollah's stronghold in the region. Reports have said that Israeli Security Cabinet is set to approve a ceasefire plan with Hezbollah, with final details being worked out. Meanwhile, parts of northern Gaza also came under heavy attacks from Israel. Overnight, at least 11 people have been injured in a series of attacks by Israeli aircraft in the region. Israeli forces have also bombed Syria, allegedly killing 2 civilians in an attack on multiple bridges near the Lebanese border. The Israeli military said it was targeting Hezbollah's weapon smuggling routes. From one war-torn region to another, Ukraine's military said that Russia launched 188 attack drones against the country overnight. This is the highest number in a single night. The Ukrainian Air Force said that it had shot down 76 of these, but added that nearly all the rest have disappeared from radar. This comes as analysts say that Russian forces are advancing in Ukraine at the fastest pace since the early days of this conflict in 2022. And back home, it's been more than 3 days since the BJP Shiv Sena NCP alliance registered a landslide victory in the Maharashtra Assembly elections. However, the suspense over the next Chief Minister continues. Chief Minister Eknath Shinde submitted his resignation to the governor, and that's as per protocol. The term of the current Maharashtra Assembly ends today. Shinde will function as the caretaker CM till the next leader is sworn in. Sources tell us that Eknath Shinde's Shiv Sena is unwilling to cede the CM's post to the BJP. Shiv Sena sources say that Eknath Shinde was the face of the Mahayuti's election campaign, and his popularity helped the alliance win. Both camps are holding the cards close to their chests, insisting that a decision will be taken unitedly. And the Parliament marked the 75th anniversary of the adoption of the Indian Constitution today. President Draupadi Murmu and Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar addressed MPs from all parties at the Central Hall. Both Murmu and Dhankar called on political parties to keep country over creed to preserve India's independence.
संविधान हमारे देश का सबसे पवित्र ग्रंथ है। आज हम सब एक ऐतिहासिक अवसर के भागीदार भी बन गए हैं और साक्षी भी। 75 वर्ष पहले संविधान सदन के इसी केंद्रीय कक्ष में आज ही के दिन संविधान सभा ने नवस्वाधीन देश के लिए संविधान निर्माण का बहुत बड़ा कार्य संपन्न किया था।
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chief Justice of India, Justice Sanjeev Khanna, marked the Constitution Day at the Supreme Court. The PM also released the annual report of the Indian judiciary. Addressing the event, PM Modi said that Constitution has been fully implemented in Jammu and Kashmir. He emphasized that social justice is the essence of the Constitution. Meanwhile, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi took a swipe at the Prime Minister at a Save the Constitution campaign event in Delhi. He claimed that the PM has never read the Constitution.
हमारा संविधान देश की हर जरूरत, हर अपेक्षा पर खरा उतरा है। संविधान से मिली इस शक्ति की वजह से ही आज जम्मू कश्मीर में भी बाबा साहब का संविधान पूरी तरह लागू हुआ है।
ये हिंदुस्तान का संविधान है। मैं आपको गारंटी देकर कह रहा हूं कि नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने इस किताब को नहीं पढ़ा है, क्योंकि अगर नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने ये किताब पढ़ी होती तो वो जो रोज करते हैं वो नहीं करते।
Well, today marks the 16th anniversary of the 26/11 terror attack that shocked Mumbai. 166 people, including 20 security force personnel, were killed and more than 300 were left injured. Maharashtra Governor Radhakrishnan and caretaker Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, along with Devendra Fadnavis and Ajit Pawar, paid tributes to the martyrs at the memorial site today. 10 Lashkar-e-Toiba terrorists came to Mumbai via the sea route from Pakistan and carried out these attacks across prominent locations and held the city to ransom for over 3 days. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of India Business Hour. Thank you so much for watching. News and updates will continue right here on CNBC-TV18.